G'day, you beautiful, awesome people! And we are here! It is YuGiOh Duelists of the Roses! The brand new series while we wait for Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution to update, which I've been hearing it's going to be April. So we've got a couple of months to spend with this particular game, which I do not mind. This is probably my favourite YuGiOh game, and you'll see why. It's been one of those games where people are hoping Konami remakes at some point, although I would like to also point this out too, it is Konami, do not hold your breath. I highly doubt they'll be remaking this game anytime soon, though I would be loved to be proven wrong at some point. That would be absolutely bloody fantastic. Or to at least make a game in a similar fashion to Duelist of the Roses. Either one, that would be fantastic. Because in the last couple of years, let's just say outside of Duel Links, which I know everyone's hyped about, which I generally have not played myself, is currently been known as like, you know, a little bit lackluster. And I will admit, even Legacy of the Duelist, there is a little parts of the games where I'm like, oh, come on, we can do better than this, can't we? Anyways, I will quit with the rants, I guess, and we'll just jump straight into the game. So there's a little bit of dialogue to begin with, but it is going to set up the whole entire premise of this game. It's a little bit unique. It's chess meets dungeon dice monsters, I guess, with Yu-Gi-Oh! As it's really interesting. So anyways, England, 1480s. The Wars of the Roses, a power struggle between the houses of the Lancaster, Red Rose, and York, White Rose, to decide a royal successor was nearing an end. With the Yorkists well in the lead, the reign of Richard III was but a step away. And in France, YuGi, or Henry Tudor as he's known in this game, the last Lancastrian heir, was being forced to live a life of exile. The Lancastrian forces were rendered powerless by an ancient cards of sorcery wielded by Seto and his 7 followers, who known as the Rose Crusaders, served under the flag of Lord Crawford, a powerful Yorkist nobleman. Lacking a duelist to champion their cause, defeat was imminent for the Lancastrians. In England, duel card games were still at the fledgling stage. Thus, the Lancastrians had to look elsewhere for a duel master capable of facing the Rosencrantz in battle. With this in mind, Margaret My Buford of Lancaster secretly requested a High Druid to summon a duelist from another age. That's a very ballsy thing to ask. It's like, oh hey, let's break a little bit of the fourth wall and be like, hey, can we time travel a little bit? Yeah. Anyways, for those who haven't picked up already, this is based on King Henry, which is a Shakespearean play, which is kind of another reason why I like this game, kind of. It's been a long time since I've read King Henry. Back in my days of high school when I used to study Shakespeare quite a bit. So it's got a little bit of literary references as well. It's, as I said, it's a little bit bizarre in the Yu-Gi-Oh verse though, because it's like, Mai is a different name, Yugi's referred to something else, Seto's just Seto, but he does look freaking badass though with his blue eyes armor, with his blue eyes head as his jewel disc. It's like, dude, I really wish he looked like that in the anime, that'd be sick. There's a few others that get like different names and all that. As I said, we'll dive into all the weird differences and all that. Anyways, we'll start off with Simon McCurran going, ooh, summoned from the mystic circle of red and white roses, the one capable of harnessing pure power. There was truth to the legend of the Rose Duelist. Lady Margaret, I did it! Now we have the means for defeating the evil forces of Rosencrantz. I can never pronounce that name. Oh, my apologies. In my excitement, I'd forgotten I was in the presence of the Rose Duelist. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Simon McCurran, High Druid and servant of Lancaster. May I be so bold to ask the name of which the Rose Duelist would be like to be known? So, there is a couple of games in this era where your name actually does correlate to a couple of things, and YuGiOh Duelists of the Roses is no different. So, for this playthrough, I will be going through as Lady KrimZen, which is a name I rarely go. I normally just shorten it down to KrimZen for the sake of simplicity. But in this run, we will need to go as the full title. So I'll be saying that for the very last time. So yeah, that's been locked in. Lady KrimZen, a fine name indeed. Now, here's the situation. The year is 1485, and you are currently in Stonehenge, near Salisbury, England. England is in turmoil with the House of Lancaster rightfully claimed to the throne, being challenged by the Yorkist usurpers. The power struggle is referred to as the Wars of the Roses, a name based on the badges used by both sides, a red rose for the Lancastrians and a white rose for the Yorkist. Right now, our kingdom is threatened by the Yorkist and their wrongful claim to the throne. All because of the Yorkists enjoy the support of the Rose Crusaders and their sorcerous white rose cards. Using our red rose cards, we summoned you, Lady KrimZen, to this day and age. We hoped that your dueling experience would defeat the Rose Crusaders and lead us to victory. You will help us? Of course you will. Foolish of me to even doubt where your loyalties lie. Rumour has it that only the legendary Rose Duelist stands a chance against the power of the Rosencrez. We appreciate any help you can provide against them. Before I forget, I should warn you that the rules of dueling differ from those of your age. Here in England, dueling is governed by what is known as the perfect rule, in addition to several minor distinctions, not distractions, thank you dyslexia. Even back then, in the 1800s or whatever this was set, they still suffer from dyslexia. There are two major differences. One is the existence of movement or positioning, the other is the deck leader, aka Season 4 of the original YuGiOh concept. These are two aspects of dueling that were lost in the process when the ancient sport of duel monsters was adapted to card form. The perfect rule represents these lost rules that were miraculously revived here in England. Perhaps a practice duel will serve better than explanation, shall we? Hells to the nose! That's a hell of a long explanation, so we'll just do that as we play. First, Lady KrimZen, you must select a deck to duel with. It is important that you feel the vibrations of a deck leader, the minute resonations that ring true to your soul. The cards themselves draw their power from energies of the Ancient Ones. The deck leader acts as an intermediate between the Ancient Ones and the deck wielder. Lady KrimZen, it is essential that you select a card leader whose rhythm matches the stirrings of your soul. Here are several decks from which to choose. Give it some serious thought and make your selection. Choose carefully, for the deck you select will guide the destiny of your duels. Alright, so the three I get with this particular name gives me Luminous Soldier, Patrician of Darkness, and Technical Warrior. And for those of you who have been following my Twitter up to this point would have kind of seen that, these three decks are familiar because I kept showing it off and I was like, for a little while going, I can't remember the name that I used to use, although I will admit Lady KrimZen kind of suits the game, but the deck we go with for this one is Patrician of Darkness. Why? Because its average summon level is 3.3 basically, so it's got very low summoning requirements and it kind of suits in with how the game works. Zombies are very easy to work with, they got a lot of fusion, which is another good thing. So it's the easiest thing to work with, so we're going with that one. Plus, you can get all the other cards pretty easily through trades and potentially even drawing them through the actual game itself. Ah, I see you have selected your deck. So that's the effect of the Celtic Red Rose cards. It looks like there's some truth to the rumour that Red Rose cards are capable of time transformation. Who's there? Ah, of course it's Seto. It's been some time since the Battle of Barnet, old one. Rosencrez, what brings you here? No, his name's Seto. Only a member of the Rose Crusaders may call me by that name. If you may recall, I told you once before that you may only address me as Seto. Or does memory fail you, old man? And you must be the dreaded Rose Duelist. I must admit there was a certain aura of power emanating from you. I believe an introduction is in order. I am Seto, leader of the Rose Crusaders. There are members of our little group who prefer to call me by the name of C. Rosencrez. Why? Seto is a far more superior name, though. I ask you again, what brings you here, Seto? Mind your manners, old man. What else would bring me here? I've come for the Red Rose cards, why of course. After all, it was you who showed me how the summoning capabilities would evolve when the Red Rose cards are combined with the transport powers of the White Rose cards. You aren't thinking of attempting the Forbidden Rose summoning? If so, then the Red Rose cards must never fall into your evil hands. Card sorcery taps into the powers of the Ancient Ones. By their very nature, each card is a double-edged sword that can cut both ways. The rose cards alone harness tremendous power. There is no telling what horrors one might unleash to the world by combining both red and white. I will sacrifice my own life if need be to prevent any uttering from Spell of Doom. The Spell of Doom? Full! The 16 red and white rose cards grant power overall. Druid legend has twisted the true meaning of these cards. We Rose Crusaders have sworn to create a utopia free from the ravages of war. We intend to accomplish this with the power of the cards, and we shall do so by extending the rule of Richard III throughout the known world. By the way, it was clever of you to form a circle of red roses within the white rose, barrier to summon the rose duelist. But you were foolish to come alone. This area is surrounded, and if you wish to leave with your life, you will do so only by handing over the red rose cards. Me? A fool? Then what about you? Are you a fool enough to actually believe the red rose cards would remain here in my possession? Right after the summoning, I had the cards dispersed among our best duelists to keep them from your tainted hands. Then you leave me with but one option. I shall enlist aid of your precious rose duelist. You take leave of your own senses. And you speak too soon, old man. Heed my words, duelist. If you wish to return to your proper time and period, you will require 16 cards of the red and white roses. The red and white positions must be laid out in reverse of the summoning order to send you home. You know the spell? Since you need the 16 rose cards just as much as we do, I propose a partnership. Help us gather the cards, and I shall guarantee your return after we have achieved our ultimate goal. An absurd proposition. Do you think that the Honourable Lady KrimZen would even lend an ear to your ridiculous proposal? Can you be so sure, old man? Let me see. Simon's side has 8 of the red rose cards, while my side, the Rose Crusaders, have possession of the 8 white rose cards. As the numbers are even, simple arithmetic indicates that you could side with either of us. But I'm sure you'll take into account who's winning this war. After all, who was desperate enough to summon you in the first place? I think it's quite clear which side is better positioned to send you home. Lady KrimZen, heed not the words of this power-hungry lunatic. Simon, must you resort to name-calling? I'm hurt. I'll tell you what, why don't we leave the decision to our dear duelist? After all, Simon, the duelist's future today is not for us to decide now, is it? Well, yes, but... Splendid. In keeping with the tradition of the old temple gardens, I offer you a choice. Duelist. Here are 2 roses. The right represents me, and the red for the old Simon here. For the sake of justice, choose the red rose. Oh god, I feel Mischief Maker's coming back there for a second. Stand by my side, duelist. Choose the white rose. So, to start off with this, we're going with the Lancastrians. How disappointing. Oh well, you made your choice, and I respect that. For now, I will guarantee your safe passage until you meet with YuGiOh. After all, I don't want your little game to end too quickly. That wouldn't be sporting or fun. I look forward to the day when we meet again, duelist. Until then. And just when you think the dialogue is done, nope, it ain't. It's far from done. As I said, it's kind of needed, and I quite like it. So France, Brest, Isle of Brettingen? Lasagna. Now, I can't put that together. I said lasagna because it's kind of like the same ending. No, I can't do it. Lady KrimZen, I present Prince YuGiOh, last Prince of Lancaster, a true Welshman, and the hope who call ourselves Celts. My lord, may I present Lady KrimZen, the Rose Duelist. You serve us well, Simon. My mother was wise in summoning you from Scotland. You honour me, sire. Duelist, I am YuGiOh. Actually, Henry Tudor is my name, but I find it tiresome. You may call me YuGiOh. I am sure Simon explained our situation, but it's only right that I request your services. Myself. I need you to return to England and put an end to the threat of the Rose Crusaders. Their white rose cards form a barrier that prevent my armies from setting foot on British soil. Although we Celts had the red rose cards, we are but inheritors who are unable to wield their full power. In the hopes of reversing our fortunes, we gambled on a druid legend that spoke of a rose duelist. According to the same legend, one must use a deck whose cost is lower than an opponent's to capture a rose card of another colour. I believe that it is important that you keep this in mind. The cost of your deck should not exceed the cost of your opponent's deck. I would like you to note that our resources have been pressed to the limit, requiring us to invade England by August. My troops will land in Milford Haven, Wales, and march on to face the enemy at Bosworth Field. Having all the Rose Crusaders out of commission by this time would be ideal, but that might prove difficult, and a reduction of their force would be appreciated. Right then, let us part company and reunite in Bosworth. Simon will provide you with all the details as to where and when we'll meet once more. Luck be with you, Duelist. Now we're done all the dialogue. That was quite a long time. But as I said, kind of worth it. I like doing this route first, even though it is technically a little bit harder. Well, I feel it's a little bit harder. But it does set up quite a lot of things. Alright, so we've landed back in England and we have two options to where to start. But before we do that, we need to actually go to our deck and do a couple of things, because this will probably be the one, if not, probably the only change we do. If we do get a certain other cards, that may change. Okay, this is going to take a little while. I'm probably going to speed this up because I've only just recently changed this route and I'm not familiar with it. So I'll speed it up, do a little bit of montage, and I'll explain everything when I'm all done. Alright, so that's all of the passwords and all of the kind of deck editing I'm going to do. And now it's time to explain what I've done. So I went through and removed a couple of cards that are kind of useless for this deck. They don't do anything in regards to fusions or whatnot, and they're just really just a pain in the ass. So I put in another dragon zombie. It's quite handy. It's got decent attack for a level 3 monster, so it's just generally there. It's also there used for extra fusion material. Clown zombie, it's again low-leveled monster. It's got decent attack even for that, and again just with more fusion material. We've got Green Kappa. It may look pretty useless, but this card when flipped up, adapts the attack and defense of the monster with the highest attack power on the field, which is really handy. So that could be one of my monsters, it could be anything for the opponent's monster. And most times, if it goes into like one of my monsters, and I know I've got dominance on the field at that point in time, so it's either like a last resort to try and defend, or it's also one of those good ways of like finishing off the opponent. We've got Muka Muka. This thing gets a power boost of 300 points for each monster in the controlling player's graveyard. So in other words, if the opponent is known for throwing away a ton of cards, Muka Muka gets a good advantage out of that. Wasteland, just for another power up for terrain advantage. And then we've got another Armored Zombie in our deck, again for more fusion material, and another zombie monster, just to get rid of some of the ones that weren't. Okay, that's not one of ours. I think all these are like noobs. Right, so Dragon Zombie, Clown Zombie, Green Kappa, Muka Muka, Wasteland. There's a couple of others too. Why is this not going? Hold on. I think it's Select that I use. There we go. And then go Newcomer. Still hasn't technically helped me. Alright, there's a couple of others too. Let me just find. Okay. Dharma Cannon is another good card we threw in. Can enter labyrinth squares and transform the occupied space into normal terrain. There's a couple of areas where that is really handy. So throw that in, and now I've got to find the other ones. Which is Slate Warrior, which is a code you normally get given at the end of the game as well. So when this card is flipped up, all your immortal monsters gain 500 attack points, so just power itself up. And when it's also destroyed, it does put Crush Terrain on the field. It's more the fact that it's quite a powerful card, and it does get a terrain boost when entering Crush Field, which is another plus. Yami will throw in as another extra bonus. I did throw in Wasteland, didn't I? I also got another Mammoth Graveyard. I just saw that. Where'd that go? Mammoth Graveyard. We threw that extra bonus in there so we can make Mammoth a gold fine. Dimension Hole is really handy, so if you ain't using that, start utilizing. I'll actually show off how to use that properly in the duels. It's kind of like a main staple for the deck. Violet Crystal is used for powering up zombies by 500 points, and that's not all the cards apparently. I've got one extra. What's going on? Because Megamoth is supposed to be the last card I throw in. Let's have a quick little squeezy. What have I done? Someone was meant to go, but I didn't throw. That's right, I'll just throw someone. Where's that bloody caterpillar? Goodbye. You can go. There's probably like a card I was meant to throw out and I haven't thrown out. But, oh well. Anyways, that's going to do it for the deck edit. We only allowed 40 cards in this deck. If I haven't thrown away a particular card, then my deck cost is going to be a little bit wonky. This is also to guarantee that all of the duels we do, my deck cost is going to be a lot lower. And I'm probably not going to save until like the end of the episode. So anyways, let us continue on. So the first duel we'll be doing at Tekaspree. Actually, I'm not even going to try and pronounce these places. Some of these have like the weirdest names. Anyways, Rex Raptor. The Rose Duelists, eh? I'm not impressed. In fact, I'll crush you to a pulp with my dinosaur deck. So Rex is pretty easy. I think most decks would have an easy time up against him, unless of course you've got an Aqua deck, then you're going to struggle a little bit because you're going to have the terrain disadvantage. Alright, so as you can see, it's a terrain of Wasteland and Labyrinth, with a couple of columns there being Labyrinth, of course. So Labyrinth we can't walk through. Wasteland powers up zombies, dinosaurs, those type of cards. And a bit of an awkward bloody hand here. That's a terrible hand. Wow, I'm probably just gonna have to ditch something here. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do this. I'm just gonna throw away Curse Breaker just so I can get an extra draw next turn. That's right, I can get rid of that. Alright, Rex's turn. Alright, so he tried to do a fusion, but it failed, or he's just throwing away a card like I did. Alright, I'm going to keep moving my deck master up. Okay, this is looking better. So if we do Actually, I'm going to do that. And follow it up with this. Oh, you're kidding me. Okay, that's fine. It still fuses. I was like, oh god, I just forgot that does a fusion. It's alright, I still got my pumpkin. Alright, pumpkin on the field with 2,600. Sorry, not even that, 31 because of the terrain boost too. Alright, so as you can kind of see, we're moving our cards one space at a time, unless of course they got a terrain boost, which we're just about to go to right now. So when they're faced up, they can move 2 spaces if they've got the terrain boost. So besides getting the 500 boost, they can move an extra space instead. So anything else outside of that only moves 1, unless of course there's a few other reasons why they can move +2. That goes into like deck leader abilities and all that. It's quite a complex game, and when you're trying to move fast, it's quite hard to explain all on the spot, but hopefully the more you watch, the more you'll kind of pick it up. And this is the other reason why Duelists of the Roses is really good. Although normally in my casual playthroughs I don't watch these, I'll have it abbreviated. But for this playthrough, we've got to show off the actual animated battle scenes. The modern day Yu-Gi-Oh games just don't have this now. I don't know why. There's just something so charming about all these animations. I think even during the DS era, you got to see like actual 3D models be animated on the field. It was really cool. And yet, they got rid of it. So anyways, 1,000 life point damage there dealt, and now I've got terrain boost, which means I can also move to an extra space, so I can move 2 per turn. Alright, so as you can see there, I've got a T with an arrow going up, which means obviously I've got the terrain boost, and the M also means I've got movement. The only time you'll see that is, as I said, through a deck leader bonus that allows, I think, attributes of the same type or support to move. So if we look at the leader ability, here we go, movement boost for same type friendly. So we know you won't see it on this particular field, but if two-headed King Rex was, say, on normal terrain, dinosaur cards around the deck leader would have a movement boost without being on the wasteland. Alright, so let's move our deck leader up by, sorry, not deck leader, our normal card up by 2. Alright, well, oh, sick. Well, wasteland's useless here. If I got a dragon, that would have been nice, but it's alright. Spellcaster, I think I'm just going to place it down. Actually, I might throw this down. Alright, throw down Dharma Cannon, and they'll get rid of the terrain. The Labyrinth, which means I can easily just cut through there if the deck leader wants to start making a break for it, which he is. Alright, tried for a fusion, or just threw away a card, one of the two. That goes in defense, that's going to move, which is fine. I was kind of hoping for something else, but that's alright. Alright, just throw that away because it's done its job. Go there. Don't be a trap card. Thank you, that's a bloody strong card. If I didn't get all those boosts, I'd be screwed there. I could use Pumpkin for its actual ability, which is kind of why it's in this deck as well. Or the ability to fuse into multiples of it, which is when it's in face-up defense position, it will boost all zombies on the field by 100 points. So it is kind of good for getting a little bit of extra attack boost here and there. But in this situation, it was better off just powering it up and going straight for the full-on assault. So Brachiosaurus is going to bite the dust. Oh my god, that sounds like one of those balloons where you blow it up and then like you grab the end of the balloon where the air comes out and goes and makes all these like weird noises. That's what that Brachiosaurus... Oh my god, and so does the pumpkin! Like the balloon. Brachioradius. Is that what it's called? I thought it was called Brachiosaurus. Never mind. Or am I thinking the actual dinosaur? I probably am. There's the inner nerd me talking. Alright, so the other thing I did not explain. So up in the red corner there, you can see my current life points. The stars, you can see there's currently a 1 next to it. That's my summoning points. So every turn I gain 3. We start the drill off with 4 as well. So next turn I'll have 4 summoning points, which means I can summon any monster 4 or stars below. So I could summon Lizard, which would be bad, but you know, normally throw that away, or summon a Flower Wolf if potentially needed on forest terrains and all that. So that's what that's for, and that's how the summoning works in this game. So if you want to summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you need to have summoning points of 8. Next to that on the right is how many cards are in our deck. And then below the summoning points, the yellow and orange card symbols currently has 2 next to it, which tells me how many monster cards I've got on my field. And then next to that is how many spell or trap cards I've got on the field. So very similar to that of the actual card game itself, you're only allowed to have 5 monsters on the field and 5 spell or traps on the field. So those traditional rules still apply to this game, but the way you summon is very different, obviously. And then once we've done all our turns, we just hit start and we end our turn. Oh, lovely. Straight towards my monster. I really hope that's not a powerful monster in front of me. Oh, good, he's got a defense. So this could work out very well. Let's find out what you've got. Oh, nothing. I think it's a Ripperoni here. It's a very big Ripperoni. Alright, so winning conditions. There is a couple of winning conditions. Obviously, the first one being bring your life points down to 0. So if my life points go down to 0, I lose. If the opponent's life points go down to 0, I win. The other winning condition is the opponent or you cannot summon. And by that, when I go to summon monsters, you'll see some blue squares appear. If they are all occupied, I can't summon. Or if they're occupied by my own cards, I can summon. But if they're occupied, whether it be by Labyrinth or by the opponent's cards, then that's going to be either a win or loss, depending on, like, obviously who's it's happening. So at the moment, Rex is occupied by... I'll just go have a look. Labyrinth and my cards, potentially, but there's just one square. Oh, I'm not quite there. But next turn, I will be able to slam into him for life point damage. I was like, oh. I was like, depending on where he is. But yeah, these two are still non-occupied, so we can summon into there. And that's it. Really? If I had a way of, like, getting in quickly, which I don't, I could have easily just done a quick bang bang, but that's not going to happen. Or, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. I'm going to have enough points there to take him out anyways, unless he just takes out one of my monsters. There. Oh, straight up, nothing. That's it, that's game. He didn't even bother. He was just like, whatevs, just go for it. Alright, that's it. That's Rex done. Normally they'll try to fight back, but that case he was just gave up. He knew he lost, which is good. Alright, there's our first win, and our first introduction into how Duelists of the Roses battles works. It's quite interesting, takes a while to pick up, but once you've got it, actually it's quite fun to play. Alright, so after each win we get a graveyard slot machine, so when the opponent sends cards to the graveyard, at the end when we win we get a chance to actually get those cards. There are a few exceptions, a couple of cards like certain fusions don't go to the graveyard, and certain monsters don't go to the graveyard. Blue Eyes White Dragon, Red Eyes, no, Red Eyes goes to the graveyard, Blue Eyes doesn't though. Ah! Oh, come on, of course I get a fake trap. So I got 2 Tomazars, and if you line up 3 in a row, you do get a special card. I doubt I'll get that through this playthrough. But it's, you know, one can hope. What? Me? Lose? I don't believe it. Alright, there's our first Rose card. So the aim of the game is to get 8 of them. So we've got to take down a couple of Duelists. There isn't 8, there's actually more than 8. So we just unlocked 2 more areas. So we've got Darkness Ruler, aka Pandora, not Pandora, Panic, or Player Killer as he's known in Japanese, and then Necromancer. Why is he known as Necromancer? That's Bones! There you go, I think in the actual King Henry he's known as like Necromancer. Darkness Ruler I'm pretty sure is like it's called in King Henry as well. Alright, we'll go with Darkness Ruler. You dare to challenge the dark deck of the Darkness Ruler? Rose Duelist or not, you don't stand a chance. Alright, so this can be a kind of a scary battle because when I was practicing this, I actually nearly lost somehow. I was like, ooh, that's a wee bit scary. Alright, so this is a train mainly about 90% darkness. And then the remainder, well, not probably 95% darkness, and then remainder being forest. Alright, so we're gonna move up one. And that is what you call a terrible bloody hand again. There's not much I can do off that. I'm just gonna start off with that and then just hope for the best. Alright, he's gonna move across and he's gonna summon. That's obviously gonna have a terrain boost straight off the bat. Or not, that's gonna be a trap. That's not bad. Alright, come on, give me something good, baby. When I say give me something good... Alright, it's gonna throw the lizard away. I don't want to move it forward in case it's a trap. Then I'm going to trap my dimension hole, which is what I don't want. Alright, just going to do that. Alright, that's definitely a trap. I don't mind this monster getting hit by a trap. Yep, Tears of a Mermaid. I thought as much. Alright, that's gone. It's just the other card next to him I'm actually quite afraid of. Well, this is turning out to be a horrible duel. I'm not getting the cards I need. At all. I think for now I'm just going to put that there. Like, that's generally all I can do. Alright, that's bad. I have a full deck of zombies and I haven't drawn one. Alright, no terrain boost there at all, but it did move... Oh, okay. It looks like he's just got a whole bunch of traps, which has me so afraid at this point. That's not too bad. Still, it's nothing that I want. Alright, gonna throw up a Wasteland just to get rid of his power boost. Come on, gang, give me a zombie. That's all I ask for. My monster does come out of the, whatchamacallit. I was paralyzed. Alright, power increase. They're all dark monsters, so they don't... Okay, not too far off. Tears of a Mermaid actually weakened me down there. Unfortunately, even in defense position, I would not have won that. Alright, here's our first duel and potentially first monster that he summoned as well. Not a very strong monster, though it would have been much stronger with a terrain boost. Well, at least at the moment the sound effects don't sound like a balloon going or that sounds believable. It's like a screech of like an evil fiend. Unfortunately, though, being in attack position, I did lose life points. Please. Oh, thank heavens! I finally got something I could use! I should have been moving though. It's alright, I won't be led from now on. Alright, Great Mammoth of Goldfine is basically the boss monster of this deck. There's a couple of ways of summoning it. As I said, it's a straight up monster in this deck. It comes with the deck. And the other way to get it is to fuse a Mammoth Graveyard with any zombie monster, which is why I was saying, come on deck, give me a zombie monster! This deck's full of them and I can't draw one! Wow, I've actually have not seen Mammoth of Goldfine's animation for like so long, and I'm like, damn, that actually looks really cool. When it attacks, all this gold dust just goes everywhere. Although, I do question how it's making a noise because it's got no organs, so never mind, it's Yu-Gi-Oh logic. Do not question Yu-Gi-Oh logic. I am going to start moving this backwards just in case I have to make a retreat, which I doubt I will. I'm not going to be moving anywhere near that, though. What the hell? It has to be a trap card. It has to be a trap card. Oh, I should have flipped up. You, dummy. Ah, this is going to take a hit then if it is a trap. No, it's not. Is that game? It is game. Wow, even with my little mishap there, it was still game. I was meant to flip the bloody mammoth. At least the game decided to be like, oh, you've won this duel. That was lucky. Well, not too many cards here. There's a king of Yamakai. There we go. Ah, false trap, go away. And Fiend Castle, which I know looks like Toon World, but it's Fiend Castle in this game. I don't know why. I think Toon World's something else. Anyways, Darkness Ruler's done. No! How could it be? How could I lose? That's our second rose card down. Right, more places revealed. And I think Pegasus is coming up. Nope, that's Labyrinth Ruler. I think. No, Keith. Labyrinth Ruler's a little bit further up. Alright, next up we've got Bones or Necromancer. Oh, what? I knew I made a mistake. I'm only 2 deck cost off. This is why I said, oh, I've screwed my deck points up. Alright, let's have a quick squeeze at what I've made a mistake on. I kind of wish it went the other way. Right, all the way down. Is it Shadow Girl I was meant to get rid of? Oh, it was Shadow Girl I was meant to get rid of. Where's Catty? I could throw that in. It is a dinosaur, isn't it? And it's got a deck cost of 9. I'm just going to double check there isn't anything with Caterpillar 6. Alright, there we go. I was meant to get rid of Shadow Girl and I completely forgot. So that's why my deck cost was wonky. Alright, that's... Now we can go do Necromancer. Right. Ooh, my zombie that hungers for a taste of your... Oh, a taste of you. Taste of your blood and your brains! There we go, I finished off how it should have gone. I do like the music in this game, even though I do criticize Legacy of the Duelists repetitive music. At least in this game, it sounds decent. And this is a terrible start. Although, I could very well just go... I don't really want to, though. Damn it, this is actually a terrible start. I will admit this is the worst I think I've ever had it for draws. I think I'm just going to do this. Goodbye. Just throw that on the field. There's honestly not much I can do. Done. Okay, power up. Right, moved. It was only monsters in the field this gets powered up by, isn't it? Every monster. Alright, what got thrown to the graveyard? Not that one. That one. One monster, so I only get a little bit of a boost. Yeah, that's fine. Right, power increase for that to 27, and then we go into the Wasteland, 32. Goodbye, blocker. You're not blocking anything. Oh, wait, hold on, what ability was that? It might not do any life point damage, though. Alright, time to pick up a little bit of gold dust. Mammoth, a gold fine! Gold Rush attack! I'm assuming that's what they would call out in the actual anime if they were to use this card. Your blocker cannot block your... Oh, I don't know, I screwed that up. I was going to say something savage like, your blocker can no longer block. Or, I don't know, the comment section will probably pick up the slack there. I'm generally thinking too far ahead at this point. Yeah, no life point damage. Alright, so that's that. Now, he'll potentially move his deck leader. Yep, that's good. Why would you put that there? Unless he's got another Mammoth for Gold Fund himself. No? Okay. Interesting. Alright. Excuse me, I only hit the X button once! I think my whole PS has seen better days, but that was just like, what? Alright, I'm gonna summon Green Kappa. And as I'm sitting here raging on the inside about how my PS just thought that was a double tap. Alright, Green Kappa, adapt to my Mammoth of Gold Find, please. Oh god, that zombie warrior just got annihilated. Damn! Now, that doesn't get a terrain boost, unfortunately, and it does take into account for terrain boost and everything when this thing adapts. It's like, damn, this is such a good card. I think it's got somewhat decent deck cost still, but for a weak-looking monster, it's actually quite a good card. Look how ugly this thing is! What's its attack, I wonder? I've never generally used this card until I saw it. Looking through one of my deck thing. Oh my god, why are we looking at its ass? It's like the most... Oh well, it might never judge a book by its cover. Damn. I would hate to be caught up in that blast. That'd be like the last thing you see. It's like, oh damn, and then you just get hit with this big Kamehameha. And I was like, oh no. Yep, that's the worst way to go out generally, I reckon. Why? That's my question. Okay, this time I didn't mistake it for a double tap. That's a decent attack there. Let's find out what this is. Oh, okay. Ooh, whatevs. And I think, just for the hell of it, we'll just do this. Alright, so he can summon something, but it's not going to do him any good. He actually would have better off just... Oh, okay, he might be able to get past this. Oh, damn, Shadow Ghoul. Although he's going to get his life points smacked, so that is a downside for him. I generally forgot Bones had Shadow Ghoul. Then again, it is a zombie monster. I'm sorry, but that sounded way too comical for a Shadow Ghoul. It's like, ding, 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 boom. I mean, the start of it was really cool. I'm like, oh, did my recorder system just like break or something? Because the whole screen went black for a second. I was like, what? And then all of a sudden it goes this little sound effect of ding, 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 ding. I'm like, damn it, they broke the mood. Alright, one. I could have just gone with Mammoth Gold Fund and just one-shotted, but I was like, may as well just insert the torture here. And two. You never leave your deck master open. Alright, that's another duel done. And that is rose card number 3. He is generally the hardest because your deck cost has to be so low because zombie monsters don't require that much of a deck cost, as you can kind of tell. The fact that he required so little. Ah! Still can't get that. I've been trying for years to master this, and I still cannot get it. It's like a certain point you've got to click it to apparently line it up. As I said, for the life of me though, I can't do it, and yet you watch speedrunners do it and they just nail it every time. Ah! You be a fool if you think you've seen the last of me! Alright, so that's 3 out of 8. Alright, so nobody new pops up. Alright, next up we'll do Bandit Keith, because he's kind of annoying. So you've managed to beat a few minor duelists. Well, let's see how you fare against my machine deck. In America. Had to throw that in there. It's just every time I see Bandit Keith, the comment section either goes, in America. So I gotta throw it in, because we're currently in Britain. Alright, so there is a couple of things that can go wrong here. Machine types are just generally annoying. Or this could happen, which is very good. Alright, I'm just gonna ditch all these. And throw a dimension hole down. Now that could potentially be a trap jammer, which is super annoying if it's not. Because I did do 1 round and it was a trap jammer and I couldn't use dimension hole. That's fantastic. Alright, let's flip up dimension hole. Which is going to teleport my deck master closer to his deck master, because I still got a summon. I can do this. Fuse my dragon zombie with my mammoth graveyard. Great mammoth of dyslexia at this point. And go straight into his deck master. That was the cleanest run I've had with Bandit Keith. As I said, this could have gone horribly wrong, but it didn't, and I'm thankful for that. That can be a trap card. I hope not. Why did you go face up? Oh, I didn't have any spell. Why would you do that? I have, like, none. Get out the way. Alright, at least we get 1 duel in this battle. Like, 1 monster animation in this duel. That'd be the worst thing ever. Just, like, go through this whole duel. Not a single animation to be seen. Most boring battle ever. So at least Bandit Keith did give me this honour. Although in the process he was trying to reveal my cards, but of course AI being AI, derped out and forgot I didn't have any other cards down. So yeah, its ability was it flips up the opponent's spell cards, I think it was, not traps. Which could have been devastating, because they could have either activated at the wrong time, or if it was traps, they do something weird to traps where you can't move them, where if you interact with them, they... I don't know, they do something really weird. And I can just do this. No, I can't. Oh, dude, he's gonna make me do another turn. Although I will do this so he can't actually summon into me. Alright, he's just got a summon over there, which is useless. I've got an extra movement. Over we go. That's right, I summoned a monster for no reason, but I just also wanted to block off any potential chance of summoning into my deck master. Alright, that's Bandit Keith done. As I said, that was the cleanest fight I've had with him for a very long time. Alright, that's Rose card number 4. We're already halfway through the White Rose campaign. Ah, of course the bloody slot machine does that. And I got slot machine. Cools. We're using the slot machine to obtain a slot machine. How's that for some slot machine inception? I can't believe you actually beat me! The card professor of the Rose Crusaders. He's no the card processor. Is that because in the Duelist Kingdom he like showed he had every single deck or something like that? Or every different attribute of deck? Is that why he was known as the card professor? I've always wondered about that. Oh, here you go, Labyrinth Ruler. Let's do Labyrinth Ruler. What brings you to this northernmost region? Lost? You want some directions? You'll have to beat me first. Of course, there's always a catch to everything. You want something, you gotta do this. You want this thing, you gotta do this. Damn it. Nothing's ever free in this world. Alright, so this one, as you can kind of tell, is going to be focused around Labyrinth, which is why we've got a couple of cards to get around that. And, of course, I don't get the card I want. I didn't get anywhere close to anything I wanted. I would love to summon Pumpkin right now, but I don't think I want to. So what I'm going to do is... whatevs. It's just a Skull Servant, although I say that and then completely forgetting that in Legacy of the Duelists, where King of Skull Servants just devastates with 8,000 attack. That isn't in the game, unfortunately. I'd love to do a deck around that. Alright. Go away. And I still didn't get what I want. I'm still looking for... oh no, I am still certain... what the hell? I've just forgotten how the song goes. For I'm still looking for... oh god. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. There we go, I finally got the song. Damn it, this is terrible. Just summon a whole bunch of monsters. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I actually wanted to mention Hall or the little cannon thing to try and speed this up, but that ain't happening. Isn't it funny how it comes out of terrain and it doesn't have the boost? Boo. I pass. If I get past that little crush terrain, I should be fine. As long as he doesn't summon like a Labyrinth tank, the Dungeon Worm, or anything that can bypass Labyrinth. What I might do though... oh, they're both playing. Good job me. I actually needed this. I was gonna say, and past Labyrinth at the crush card, ain't I? It's like just before that effect kicks off. That'd be the last thing I want. Not moving, hey? Interesting. What'd I get? I was like, of course, go figure I forget it now, but I didn't. Alright, it's not what I thought it might be. I thought it might have been the big spider. Alright, I get past that. This is going to be a bit of a slow duel, unfortunately. Unless I send two monsters down two different ways to get him. Right, that's Kajoki down. I remember Kajoki back in the day. It was like one of the earliest cards I actually got when I was collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Kajoki, I can't remember if that was out of Kaiba's deck or was that out of like a random booster pack I got. I had Yugi and Pegasus as like my earlier ones, and when I finally managed to find a Seto Kaiba deck, I was like, yay, this is like my favourite, because Blue Eyes was obviously still my favourite back in those days. Is he gonna move? He's not moving. I might be getting like the worst draws, but the AI is just being weird. And weird isn't like, I can't understand why. Oh, that might have been why. Ah, damn it. I was just a wee bit off. I needed like one more boost because I went out of terrain as well. I need one more boost to actually outdo the Tamer. So he's going to resist that. I'll lose 100 life points as well. He did boost a monster. Beast, I think it raises? So I think this is the perfect time to pop this. Goodbye. Your work's done. Alright, that way you can't summon anything that way. Still doesn't summon out anything, but if he's just summoning out Spell and Trap, that's where I'm afraid, because he's going to have more summoning points to summon out like Labyrinth Tank and all that. So I'm going to have to send another card down the other aisle just to make sure he can't get down there and get my Deck Master. Alright, come at me, bro. Dude, you have a whip! Is there a need to get up that close? Come on, do a Simon Belmont and go ching! But no, you gotta run up close and try and hit me in my eye as the balloon goes. Next time I do episode 2, I'm probably not going to do this, but if I really want to be funny, I can go down to the shop, buy some balloons, blow them up, and every time Pumpkin does an attack, go meh with the balloon and just emulate in real life what type of noise it's making. Ugh. I seriously would have thought for Pumpkin it would be like something very ghoulish as a noise, not meh. Oh yeah. Ah, dude, I'm just a little bit low. Oh dude, if I had wasteland, oh no, don't tell me I derped. Let me guess, I just rushed into an attack. Oh, never mind. Look who still has Okuzi in a deck. Saved by a spell card. That would have been embarrassing if that didn't draw. And I got a bloody Wasteland or Yami instead. That would have looked very good. Anyways, that's another rose card down. We might have time for like one more duel. I'm trying to work out like how much time I lost. A little alien recording. Oh, come on, dude. Oh, come on, dude. I didn't get any cards. Oh, yeah, another thing I forgot to mention while we're in the deck edit, too, because there's a thing I should be doing in there. Every 3 duels you win, you get an option to reincarnate cards, and there's certain cards you can reincarnate to get better ones. Unbelievable! You've won yourself a light to guide you out of this labyrinth. Can you potentially give me a light that guides me away from dyslexia? That'd be great. Oh, this episode, I've not been able to read. Oh, dude, Pegasus. I'm so glad he's next episode, potentially. So yeah, we'll have a look at the reincarnation option. Alright, so we could... I even got a Violet Crystal. Where did I pick that up? I could throw that in. It's only a deck cost of 10. And there's plenty of monsters in here that don't do me anything. Hold on, let me go on deck cost. Witty Phantom doesn't really do me anything. He was actually meant to go. Dude, what was I doing when I made this deck? No wonder everything just feels so off. But it's working. That's the sad thing about it. It actually is working. I actually got myself a pumpkin, but that's like a huge amount of... I did get another zombie warrior. It's 21, but it's still quite a bit. Alright, I think I'm pretty... I never put in armor zombie. Was I meant to... I was meant to throw... What did I do when I made this deck? I swear I've made, like, so many mistakes already. I'm, like, looking at it going, you've got to be kidding me. That's a zombie that stays. I'm gonna get rid of that and throw in armored zombie. was like, no wonder my deck cost is just so weird, because it's meant to be a lot lower than that, but, I've still managed to make it work, I guess. Alright, so we could potentially do that. Who would be a good one to reincarnate? Zanky? Alright, I think I'm just gonna go do up the top and do... I'd love to do Pumpkin. We'll do Slot Machine, why not? Alright, so when we reincarnate it, we get 3 new cards. We got... There, I've never been able to pronounce that card's name. Oh, Shadow Spell, that's not bad. And the last card is... Hercules Beetle. Alright, not bad for the fact we just got rid of a Slot Machine. That alone is probably just as good as Slot Machine. Hercules Beetle's not a bad insect card either, and Shadow Spell's a really good trap card. Alright, one more duel. Alright, so now we're going to do a bit more challenging duel, because all the easy ones for the zombie deck has been done. Luckily, zombies work on both Dark and Wasteland, which gives them a huge advantage, since they're so multi-terrain. But we're now going to a... not you. Forest. Excuse me, I just had a big hiccup. Alright, Chester, Weavile Underwood.
Hee hee! So you're the legendary Rose Duelist. Prepare to face my insect deck.
Prepare to face the sting on my insect deck. I read it! And because I had a dyslexic moment, I read it and I was like, what the bloody hell does that say? I couldn't even... It was gibberish to my eyes. I must be having one of those days where I just generally cannot read. I get days like that where between my dyslexia acting up and then a huge amount of stuttering, it normally means I haven't had enough sleep either. And I will admit, even though I've been sleeping somewhat decently, it hasn't been the best. But normally when that happens, it's like, I need to sleep a little bit more. So this is a really good opening. Time to get rid of some of this forest. Yeah, I think I'm just going to activate it. Because he could easily just come swarming in and just knock out my magic card. So no terrain boost for you. And then next turn I can easily just start swarming my cards in. And obviously he's got Cocoon of Evolution. Thankfully it's not as OP as the current Cocoon of Evolution. I do not want to relive that. Could I just be a troll here and just put down another Wasteland? That's actually not too bad. My magic card doesn't activate though, but if it dismissal, that's 3 turns without... Oh, I can't summon either. Rip! And he's easily just going to be able to destroy that. Well, that backfired, but I did get remove a trap card, so it ain't half bad. I'm just gonna get rid of this. So, Alright, Mammoth of Goldfine. Great Gramoth again. I'm just gonna call it Great Gramoth of Goldfine. Just may as well. Just having one of those days. Alright, goodbye. Rose Spectrum are done. I think that even might be a deck master. Or a deck leader. Whatever you want to call it, deck master or deck leader. Alright, how is the Great Rose going to deal with the Great Gramoth? Just go with it. Great Gramoth of Goldfine. The 3 great G's. God, that looks so cool with the Yami background! Like the contrast of the Great Gramoth attacks and like just the darkness of the Yami background. Oh dude, that's just... the modern games just can't replicate this. It's, perfect. Just so aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Alright, you're down. And I move forward. Alright, one more turn, I think this comes back. Powering crazy, I think my Wasteland's now got to bite the dust. Which I'm... Oh, 2 turns? I would have been 1 when it came my turn, but yeah. Dude. And... no idea. I have no idea what to do here. Play my card and see what it is. Oh, just a larvae moth. Jeez, here I was being all worried. I was like, oh, I don't know what this is, because this could be a Hercules beetle or it could be something nasty. Who knows what it is? I'm just gonna throw this into it, like a simple 3-star hold on, is this 2-star? Is it 2 or 3? Either way, it's not a very good zombie, but it's gonna beat this pathetic larvae. Dude, that's me if I had an actual song. Just no thought goes into the slashes, it's just and then wonder how you win. Just through complete carelessness. Alright, the larvae moth just bit the dust. No cocoon of evolution for you today. Shame though I did lose my wasteland. That's not good. Just managed to go over my armored zombie. Not bad though, considering as I said it's a 3-star monster. I didn't power it up or anything. Didn't feel it was worth it. The only problem with insects, they can be extremely swarmable. And if you don't get rid of that forest, they're quite nasty. And since he's got so many equip cards for him too... okay, that's cool. That's a terrible fate though. I'd hate to go out and just cobwebs like that. Just, ugh. Not good. At least the spider didn't attack, but suffocation by spider webs, yeah, I don't know what I think I prefer. Neither. Alright, lost 100 life points there. 1800 life points he's got left. What could I do here? I think if I do this... I think the... yep, that'll go over it. Wait, what? Oh, dude, you serious? Well, you can do that. And then I do this. Screw ya. I was like, maybe. God, that frickin' sorceress, that zombie is just so bad. It's like just a last resort to kind of empty my deck out a little bit so I can get some decent cards. And potentially get like a bad monster. Or something to defend your life points. Alright, this will still award me some good life point damage though. And that is how every spider should meet their fate. Squashed. Squashed, squashed, or squashed. Or zapped with a electrified tennis racket, which is what we use an awful lot here in Australia to get rid of flies. They're just so damn annoying and they're hard to get, so you just get a tennis racket that's got a little bit of current going through it and you just hit an insect and it goes zap. Boom, they're dead. Okay, interesting. That's game. Needleworm. That will do some life point damage to me, but it's not going to kick in because it's already game over. Okay, that wasn't the most fanciest of fights, I will admit that. Then again, even my practice runs, it was never any good. It's only very rare instances where I get the advantage over Weavile. I think heck, even one of my other runs, I nearly lost to him using Cocoon of Evolution, but I managed to get him to actually go over the Cocoon of Evolution. We haven't actually talked about that, if you can get a deck master to... oh no, we have. I have shown it off. I did in Labyrinth, where I put a card down and I just went over the top with my deck master. Because the deck master's got priority over all cards, so they'll remove any of your cards. But obviously they can't go into other, like, opponent's cards and all that. That was devastating. So that is another thing you can do. And it's kind of a good advantage sometimes to do it for the deck leader, to force them to override some of their own cards. Especially if, as I said, it's Cocoon of Evolution. It's the only way to get rid of that damn thing. Terrain boost and all that as well. Alright, let's... plenty of cards here. Yeah, I think I was going to give up looking at trying to figure out the frame and just go by eye. Unfortunately, yeah, being a PS2, I think the only way to do that is with an old CT TV or, yeah, those old school TVs. I don't think a HD TV does all that great. Anyways, no! I've lost! This can't be happening! Well, you should be used to it by now, Weevil. I don't think you ever won a duel after you won the regionals. Alright, so the game at this point wants you to go do Pegasus, but that'll be for next episode, because there's Pegasus, and then there is a couple of other duels after that. So, having said that, thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of Duelists of the Roses. Hope you guys enjoyed it. In the next episode, as I said, we'll definitely be finishing off the Right Rose route, and then... I don't really know what we're doing. I think the next couple of episodes will definitely be a lot more shorter. This one had to be a little bit longer since there was a couple of things I had to do just to set things up in motion. Unless, of course, you guys do like the hour-long episode of it, then you get to see more duels and all that, and the animations can play out and all the other fun shenanigans. So yeah, just let me know what you think in the comment section below. If it is too long, I will put it down to 30 minutes. Otherwise... that's pretty much it. So again, thank you so much for tuning in to this. And until next time, make sure to stay beautiful. And this is Lady KrimZen saying ciao for now, but not forever. Ciao!